Good morning. How is everyone today? Well, here's the thought for today. A couple days ago, somebody had left a comment when on one of our videos we were showing all the animals, the chickens, the goats, blah, 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 that we have here that you guys have seen over and over. And somebody had said that they can't raise all that because they live on only a quarter acre. Well, it kind of got me thinking. So this video today is not for your average homesteader like us or bigger, but more aimed towards the people who can't raise goats and maybe they have a little small piece of land, maybe maybe they live in residential, not agricultural, maybe whatever the situation may be, that they cannot raise those kind of animals. So this video is for the homesteader that needs to think outside of the box to be more self-sustainable. Let's check it out. Now, let's say you live on a quarter acre. Maybe you're renting. Maybe you're living on a small plot of land, but you're planning on, in the near future, moving to a bigger plot of land, but you don't want to wait till then to get started. You don't have to. You can be more self-sustainable even in a residential area. So let's first go over a couple of things. One, there's no right way to be a homesteader. You don't have to live a certain way or raise a certain thing. The whole point of homesteading is to be more self-sustainable, and there's no one way to do that. The point is to raise or grow things that you can feed your family with so that you can be more self-sustainable without having to rely on grocery stores. The whole point is to be able to provide more for yourself on your own piece of property without having to go elsewhere to get it, so that you know what is in those things that you're growing or raising when it comes time to eat them. Most homesteaders have chickens, but maybe you can't have chickens. So what's the alternative to that? If you can't raise chickens, but you still want some eggs and you still want some meat, what's the solution? Have you thought about quail? Okay, they're not as big as a chicken. Yeah, their eggs are pretty small, but you don't have to be on agricultural to raise quail. You don't need a permit unless you're raising a large amount. You can raise quail in a residential area. You can raise them in your garage. You can raise them in your house. They lay eggs. They're small, little eggs, but they are eggs. They do pack a protein punch, and it's a pretty good alternative. Something to think about. Let's keep going. Now, another thing that you could do, now this one was hard for me to wrap my head around because I grew up raising rabbits for pets, not for food. And while these two, there's one in there, a male and a female, these two are definitely my pets. These are my breeders. My breeders are my pets. So they will not be food, but their babies are going to go in the freezer. You don't need to be an agricultural. You don't need a permit. You can raise rabbits in your house. To tell you the truth, they can even be litter trained. You can have a specific room set up. You can set out a pen on the ground outside beside your house. Just make sure they can't dig out of it. You could put them in above cages, which is what we used to do. I prefer to raise them on the ground so that they can, be in a more natural setting. But this is definitely an option if you cannot raise chickens and bigger animals for meat. These are New Zealand's. They get very big. It's a really good source of meat. And this is Zoe. Did you think I was going to tell you to eat your dog? Please don't eat your dog. Don't eat your dog. No, do not eat your dog, right? We're not going to eat you. No, we're not going to eat dogs. But let's take a look at one more thing that you can raise. Now, before I even show you the next one, you're going to have to change your own mind. If you want to be more self-sustainable, you're going to have to think outside the box, and you're going to have to maybe look at what other countries eat. Now, mind you, I'm not saying eat your dogs, eat your cats, run out and eat bats or nothing. I'm not saying nothing crazy like that. But the thing is that I have to change my own mind, even when it comes to rabbits. Not so much the quail, but as a kid, I was growing rabbits. So that was a bit of a thing to get my mind wrapped around. So in South America, they actually eat guinea pigs. Yes, they do. They farm them and they eat them. And we do raise guinea pigs. I originally started raising guinea pigs for pets and to sell as pets. But over the past couple of weeks, we have actually had a couple of people reach out that are from other countries who actually eat them. And I didn't even know that was a thing. I haven't wrapped my head around it yet. I'm still breeding for pets. I will sell them as food because who am I to judge? I'm not judging anybody. You eat what you eat, and however you are being more self-sustainable is how you're doing it, and that's not my place to judge you. So, guinea pigs are easy to raise. Again, you can raise them in your house. You can raise them in a garage. You can raise them in a shed. Depending on where you live, you may need to provide a heat source in the winter, possibly. And I don't, wherever you live, I don't know how cold it might get, but definitely you can do guinea pigs. Do some research. Don't call me crazy. I know we're not used to it over here, but it is actually a thing. They do eat them. And as soon as I wrap my head around it, I might try it. I don't know. But that is the third meat source. Now let's take a look at your vegetables. Did you know that you don't actually have to put everything in the ground? You really don't. It can be grown in a pot. You can even grow a tree in a pot. I've seen figs, bananas. That's a peach. That's a peach tree, and it's going to stay in the pot. This is an olive. It's an olive tree. It's going to get a bigger pot, but they're going to stay in pots. Bananas back here. Let's see. Peppers. Peppers are actually a perennial. Did you know that? Yeah. You can grow them all in pots. And you could bring them in, depending on where you live. If it's really cold, you can bring them in, or you can leave them out on your deck, and you can wrap your deck, turn it into a greenhouse. You can really do a lot more than you think you can. Keep your stuff in pots. That way, if you're renting and you need to move, take them with you. They're in pots. If you're on a small piece of property, it is a lot easier to arrange pots than to try to, and you can also control, how big they get. You can grow lemon trees in pots, orange trees in pots. You could put it all in a pot. Just do your potted planting. That's what you need to do. If you're on a small piece of land, or you're renting, or you plan on moving sometime soon, so you're kind of trying to put off getting started because you're going to move and you don't want to put a lot of stuff in the ground that is going to wind up having to stay there and you're going to have to do it over again. Put it in pots, take it with you. It's no big deal. Do it that way. So today, I really hope that I reached some people that think that they can't do it right now, but you really can. And all this "I'm not ready" stuff. What do you mean? What do you mean you're not ready? What do you mean you're not ready to put a pepper plant in a pot, or a fig tree in a pot? How can you not be ready to do that? It's just a tree. Just put it in there. Go get some quail. They are easy. They're easy. If you can wrap your head around the guinea pigs, you could do that. If you could wrap your head around rabbits, you could do that. You do not need to be agricultural. You don't need to own your own house. Some of these things you could even do, heck, you could start in an apartment, some of these things. Maybe not quail, they're kind of dusty with their litter and stuff. But you could do a breeding pair of rabbits in an apartment. You can, if you can wrap your head around guinea pigs, you could do a breeding pair of guinea pigs in your apartment. You can get started. That's the whole point of this video. You do not need to be any specific way. There's no one way to be more self-sufficient. You start where you are and you go up from there. And when you get to where you want to be, into a bigger piece of land or your own home or something like that, take those things with you and then grow from there. But you don't have to wait. You don't got to wait. Get it moving. Go ahead. Grow you some plants. Put them in pots. Put them out on your deck, on your patio. Put them alongside your house. Whatever you got to do. Get your meat source. Your quail, your rabbit, maybe guinea pigs. Who knows? Whatever you can do, go ahead and do it. And that's what this video is about. Just trying to get the people who think they can't start to go ahead and start, because there are other ways outside of chickens and ducks and geese and goats. There's other ways. You just got to think outside the box and then start from there. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.